Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So it has been a while, hasn't it? Oh god, you know what, it's been a long while. When the hell did I last do a stream? I've recorded videos, but I don't think I've done a stream for a while, actually. I've been busy, unfortunately. So to address the main elephant in the room, so there has been a hiatus in the series. Now, the reason for this is myself and THG, we needed to have a discussion regarding house rules. And this is something that crops up every now and then. It's one of these things until until you basically meet something that you don't agree with. And this happens on both sides, by the way. You don't know. You don't know if they disagree with it, or that you have a different interpretation, or somebody has a different interpretation. So basically what we did is, due to the fact of being busy as well, we both decided it was best to have a mini hiatus while we discussed. And it did take a long time for us to get to the discussion, because the thing is, I've been very busy, and THG has been extraordinarily busy. And the dude has a family, he has a job, he has a wonderful dog. So this is it. It was best for us just to have that time. So I thank you all for being patient. We do have some revisions to the actual house rules. I've got some of them written down here, but it's probably not the entire list. So I'll go over the main ones anyway, when we get around to it. But the main ones being, we have actually decided to drop some house rules. So, for instance, the actual allies will be able to use 4-engine bombers below 10,000 feet on naval attack. There's one regarding, like, PT boats must be an 8, in a task force of 8 at minimum. I'm not too concerned about that one, so I said we can drop that one as well, which is fine. The big one being regarding paratroopers. So what we decided then is paratroopers must have at least 10 preparation to drop. They can only target one base. The reason for this is the game does give you the ability to drop. You could drop paratroopers over, basically along in a line, really. All you would have to do is have your transport squadron of aircraft set to like 80% rest, and then just drop them all over. You can target like road hexes and etc. like that, just any hex really, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm aware, anyway. But I'm not interested in that. I would consider that gamey, and THG did as well, which is fine because it would be a gaming strategy. So we've actually settled on paratroopers must go to one base, and the thing is, they must make utmost effort to arrive. So it's one of these cases of where, for example, if I only use one squadron or transport aircraft, and I don't make the effort to get them there, you know what I mean? It's one of these of, well, I can't just drop a few and then just not bother again. I've got to try and get the entire unit there. The thing about this is it gives THG, or it would give myself, the opportunity to punish something like that. So, print fighters over these bases, etc., etc. So it's interesting. It makes it a little bit more formidable now. Well, I suppose it makes it a little bit more risky now to drop paratroopers, because you have to make as much effort as possible, otherwise your opponent can definitely punish you. And it prevents us from really abusing the system there. What else? Yeah, so 10 preparation, 1 base. Yes. We've agreed to have a 30-day truce. Well, not 30-day truce per se, but a 30-day grace period in China for paratroopers. The reason being so, THG has the ability to redeploy his men if he so wishes to do so. The reason for this is we considered reverting, but it was one of these things of where it would be almost intolerable, really, unfortunately. Because obviously so much was placed into the planning of these operations. So we considered that the best solution would be to have just a grace period. So in turn 102, we'll be able to use paratroopers in China again if we so wish to do so. So I think that about covers it with the main ones. I don't think I've really missed any. Yeah, there we go. Right then. Yeah, as Icy says there. How you doing there, Zareth? Good to have you, my friend. Probably helps if I did take the art off, wouldn't it? There we go. I got some time. I was writing a few essays today. Well, I've been working on some essays today. But I actually did have some time, so I thought, you know what, might as well go ahead and get streaming. It's not going to take too long, this one here. From what I recall, we didn't have all that much to do. It will be a rather exciting turn next turn, as we should have the troops arrive at... Oh god, what was the name of the actual settlement now? Let's see. Ah, there we go. My god, there's a big delay on the stream here, isn't there? I was getting worried. Oh dear. Right, okay. So Hengyang is of course the target. So we do have our forces over here. Now, I did expect us to actually arrive last turn, but we have learnt a valuable lesson about movement and combat mode, and how they basically interact. So, we will have these forces arrive next turn, which is going to be very good. So you can see that we also do have the 4th Brigade, which set out with the original divisions, 12th Division, 104th Division being the new one as well. So you can see they're all about 4 miles away from their destination. They're all set to combat mode, which is good. 23rd Corps headquarters is remaining in the position, so they're targeting Hengyang as well, so they're going to give the actual bonus there for command. We do have the 6th, 2nd and 51st Tank Regiments. Now, the 6th will arrive tomorrow, the 2nd will arrive tomorrow, and the 51st will arrive tomorrow. So you can see they're all falling with the 6th Division, which is good. There we go. So yes, they will arrive here tomorrow. The interesting thing is, really, there are these forces over here that of course move into Hengyang. Now the interesting thing is, these guys, I'm gonna say maybe they're in movement mode. They might not be, that's the thing, they might not be. But the way it works is, let's see. Yeah, okay, so he's on a major road here. Now, infantry on a major road in movement mode will move about 30 miles in a day. Now, we did find from over here with our own forces, even on the major road, in combat modes, I think they moved about 12 miles during that turn. And you can assume that to be the fact that, well, they're moving in combat mode, they're moving as if they're expecting a fight. Imagine Allied forces in Normandy, well, namely in Brittany. No, Normandy, I'm going to go with Normandy. Yeah, around Normandy, obviously in the blockage, obviously the fact that these forces were moving, they were expecting combat, they could have imagined any combatant behind any hedgerow, for example. So imagine that sort of like slow but deliberate progress being made, which is what our forces are doing here. Now, the reason why I bring this up is if THG's men over here are moving in movement mode, then they will arrive here in Hengyang tomorrow. But the thing is, they will be in movement mode, not combat mode. And you do suffer a pretty big penalty being in movement mode, as we've seen before. If I take a look. If you guys remember the 2nd Royal Thai Army Division over here, remember how that was basically mauled? I think it was mauled around about this position here, wasn't it? Yes, it was in this position here, it was mauled. No, it was mauled due to the fact that it was in combat mode. Sorry, it was in movement mode, not combat mode. But then we did see in later battles how much a difference being in combat mode actually did make. Pretty much the THG's consternation over there, and the British forces consternation over there. So, should his men arrive tomorrow, yes, it will increase the number of men there. It will be interesting to see exactly how it would affect the total AV there. We can estimate there to be, I think we know there's about 2 corps here at the moment, if I remember correctly. I think it's about 2 corps. There might be 2 corps here, perhaps maybe a 3rd corps. I'm not entirely sure about the numbers here. But they will be arriving either tomorrow in movement mode. But if they're not in movement mode, and they're in combat mode, then theoretically they will still be in this hex tomorrow. Which would be rather interesting considering the fact that we'd actually get the attack over Hengyang with more forces than we did have before. Previously, we were going to be crossing yesterday with 1700 AV. We're now going to be crossing with 2169 AV, which is going to make a nice big difference. We do have our forces on the way as well. There's some artillery coming from the south, and there's a small unit here, 68 8th Independent Infantry Battalion. At the end of the day, it's still 1,000 men. It still can be useful. If it's not needed, I will send it back to Garrison Kukong. We do have the 38th Division as well, which is a very strong division. They will be over here shortly. They've got 6 more miles to go, so I don't imagine it's going to take too long before they arrive at this road hex over here. From that point, obviously they're going to be marching on the main road, and ideally marching to Hengyang as soon as possible. We do have our armor over here as well. We do also have the 55th Infantry Brigade here as well. So those guys they're on Major Road, I do believe. Yeah, so they're on Major Road now. So they should make about 30 miles tomorrow, so this could take 2 days for them to arrive here. The armor will probably be around about here in 2 days, maybe at Hengyang in 2 or 3 days. So not long, really. There's this Chinese unit over here, which is a little bit annoying, but we'll have to deal with it as we can deal with it. I do have an engineer regiment moving up that way. Ultimately, it's not going to make that much of a difference. We do have the tank regiments moving up north as well from Canton. They're going to take some time to arrive, but they're making all good speed. Now, these guys will make 60 miles a day on the major roads over here, which is very, very nice. Excuse me. I tell you what. I forgot how tired it is sometimes when you're having to talk. It's been so long since I've done a stream. It's just, I'm out of fashion. I'm out of shape. I'm going to warm up the odd vocal cords there. Okay. So we did suffer defeat over here, which is unfortunate. I was supposed to have 2 regiments here, but due to the fact that I misclicked, only 1 regiment went north. So we did see that the Chinese forces over here, around about 70,000 of them per se, did actually launch a successful shock attack against our forces here. And it did drive them back to SunYan. In my excitement, I'd misread the battle and I thought I was the defender. Well, I was the defender. Yeah, I must have confused another battle over there. But I thought, yeah, no, I was the defender, but I saw defender and thought it was the Chinese. And read low supply, well, in fact, that was my unit over there that was low on supply. So that was a little bit of an interesting one. But no matter. We do have the 138th, we do have the 58th regiment here. You can see the 58th was the one to take the beating there. But they will recover in time. We still have 165 AV here. Level 2 fortifications. Let's see. You're doing fine. Yeah, so we have wooded there, which is times 2 defensive terrain. So SunYan is not the most formidable of bastions, but it's one of those of where it'll act as a roadblock. A road. Well, just a hurdle of some nature anyway. Now, we do have this unit over here, so this is the 4th Independent Mixed Brigade. I'm going to place this on combat mode, as it only has 1 mile to march here, and then it'll arrive in this hex. Now, the good news... Whoops. I've got some 6mm Space Marines, well, Chaos Space Marines next minute, just knocks them over here, actually, so I'm going to have to pick them up in a minute. That's a standard Havocs on the floor. It's actually quite amusing. I've got, in 6mm scale, I have to my immediate right 40 Chaos Space Marines, and around about 20 Havocs, and about 15 stands of Terminators, 2 Chaos Space Marines, 3 Sorcerers, a Thunderhawk, and some Land Raiders. Just the 2 of them at the moment. So yeah, that's been my go-to to not hang myself. Indeed, happy Independence Day. It's been a marvellous day. Well, obviously, marvellous day yesterday. Really, I don't know, it's incredible. Almost it doesn't feel real. I think it's because it's one of these things of when you want something for so long and then it doesn't happen, and then you just feel like all the time, is it actually going to happen? It's rather amusing though. I did actually have a EU seminar the day before actually, which was really fun. So this seminar was obviously in regards to the UK's relationship with the EU, so that was fun. That was really interesting. And to be honest, of all things, it was really topical. So that was cool. It makes doing politics fun. Can I ask about the music you use for this series? Is it okay for YouTube? Yeah, it is. Let's see. So, I just use these soundtracks over here. So, they're from Hearthstone 2 and Hearthstone 3. These ones, I don't really use them that much. But they are copyright free as long as you actually accredit the source. Indeed, Tyrant Day. Oh dear. But you guys already know about my personal side. So we'll get back into this. So we do have our northern force over here. This is a force that's advancing on Nanyang. And they are not far from their destination. So considering we have 1 enemy unit over here, we do have 3 over here, which is around about 70,000 as suggested here, which is rather intriguing. But over here we do have 33,000, nearly 33,600 infantry, 32,000 second line, 103 vehicles and 542 guns. Okay. As you can see, these guys will need to go to combat mode. They are 4 miles from their destination, so that should be absolutely fine. So I'm going to set all of these guys to combat orders So there we go. I also do have the NCPC Army headquarters over here. Now, I am somewhat tempted to... Let's see. It should be fine. It should be fine. Can you look at the tracker today? I'm going to say not today. But I will on the next turn. The reason for that is I want to get the turn done here as quickly as I can. And get things moving again. As far as it goes for the actual tracker, things are... Yeah, they're getting there. We'll be taking a closer look in the future at Japan itself, but things are recovering. Mainly, we are trying to build up our supply stockpiles once again, but that shouldn't be too bad. It'll take some time, but it shouldn't take too long, really. Okay. So I should set them all to combat mode. I thought I did. Set all to operation mode. There we go. There we go. Command radius of 1, so it's effectively a core headquarters, really. It says army headquarters, but it's effectively a core headquarters. Right, so there we go. They're all in combat mode now. All planning for Nanyang. Now, I wouldn't usually advise to have a headquarters in combat, but considering the fact that this is supposedly one unit, I think we'll be okay. So, we'll attack this unit the day after, so troops will arrive tomorrow, so it'll be the day after we attack. Now, this unit over here appears to be marching this way towards the east. It looks as if they're attempting to cross the rail line, well, cut the rail line. Now, if I take a look, is it F6? No. 6? No. There we go, W. So he is able to trace supply back to Nanyang. We will have this unit over here, and it will take control of this roadway over here. We'll have obviously our forces coming down here, so they'll be here tomorrow. And then obviously once they deal with that unit, they'll be over here in Nanyang shortly. So the good news is, we may in fact be able to cut him off, which will be very nice. And we are advancing towards this unit over here. It is a unit that we have beaten back. It is a Chinese corps, but it is one that we've beaten back some time now. So that's quite good. I'm hoping that I might be able to actually surround that force and cut it off from supply. The good news is, if there's this many men south, and the thing is, the last time we saw Nanyang with any sort of accuracy in terms of numbers, we did see around about, well, it was estimated around about 140,000. So, if that's anywhere near the case, we might expect that half the force is down here, perhaps. But I don't know about that. I mean, that is 4 corps, which is an interesting force to send out. Though, I suppose he has gone ahead to try and cover himself. I imagine this may be a single Chinese corps, which is equivalent to a division, roughly. Obviously, it has a poorer table of equipment. Their troops don't have as much experience or morale. So, on the face of it, they are weaker, but they are still strong in strength. Obviously in numbers, that is. But we should be able to deal with that quite nicely. If we take a look, we are approaching clear terrain. So, we'll have fun taking that out. It will make for a very easy battle there. So if we kick this unit, that will more than likely fall back into Nanyang itself. Obviously, we'll advance onto Nanyang. Okay. Now, regarding the actual house rules, so what I'm going to do is cancel the movement for these guys. They're going to remain in position here. I'm going to have them remain in combat mode. So we are going to have to continue to land our paratroopers in there, which is no problem at all. If I take a look over here, I do have the ability to use these guys with drop tanks now, which is fantastic. So what I'm going to do then is set them to use drop tanks, and let's see. We do have a house run effect where we can use one band above the maximum maneuver. So the maximum maneuver of the KI-43-1C Oscar platform would be the 16 to 20. I'm able to use the 21 to 31 if I so wish to do so. I think there is quite a drop off there, but the altitude is quite important. I mean, gonna... Well, actually, no, one band above the maximum would be really this one anyway, wouldn't it? So no mind. I was thinking it was like a 0. They are pretty damn maneuverable. Well, we will have them in numbers, so that's fine. So I think we'll just use it 20,000 feet then. That's okay. Right, we do have some in reserve here as well. So what I'm going to do then is have none of them on combat patrol. We're going to sweep over here to Toyon. There we go. I'm going to have a second squadron sweep to Toyon as well. The reason why I'm doing it like this is so I can have a squadron of Ki-43s that actually act as escorts. So these guys are flying in at 10,000 feet. So what we'll do then is fly them at 10,000. There we go. No, we're keeping that one. We're keeping that one. It's not a bad one, to be fair. I'm going to make some quick notes here. So I'm going to have to make a proper list on that, just so we know. So we're keeping 3, 5, 6. Allies can strap on 44, 45. Keep 7. There are other ones on here as well, but I only got a chance to write this down before I started streaming. Right. Okay. So no power drops in China until 102. Okay. So, yep. Everything is still set up to go ahead then, so they'll be transporting the Yokosuka 3rd. I am somewhat tempted to actually have them transport some supplies, to be honest. But if we take a look... So from Langson to Taiyuan is 7 hexes. So these guys over here, these short-range ones, what's their range? Standard is 4, normal's 3, so they're not within range, really. Why use sweeps instead of escort? The reason why I'm using sweeps is sweeps are presumably going to arrive before the actual transport aircraft do so. So if there is any actual long-range combat air patrol above Taiyuan, then the actual fighters will intercept that. Well, they'll basically engage the combat air patrol there over Taiyuan. And then we have a squadron, well, a section of the squadron allocated to actually act as escorts, so ideally they do arrive an escort. But yeah, we're having 2/3 of the squadron basically sent to engage if there's any fighters there, pretty much. Now, I did use these zeros last time to do that. So I can give them different orders this time around. So we'll sort by fighters. Okay. How you doing there, Ragnar? I know. I've been MIA for a little while, haven't I? Oh dear. Okay. I'm somewhat tempted to... I mean, if I rebuild a unit, let's take a look then. So they do have about 15 fatigue here. Okay. Now... I have some poor intelligence of Hengyang. I don't have intelligence of Lin, so he's flying tigers that we did see not too long ago. They may be based down here at Lin in the following turn. I think they're probably over here at Chongqing. We have seen him have his fighters and bombers in Chongqing quite often. So they're probably in Chongqing. So it depends really. Is he going to keep them in Chongqing and potentially try to intercept over here? Or is he going to send them to Lin to attempt to do something over here? So I think what I'm going to do... the good news is I'm going to have... Ki-27s actually run an escort over Hengyang. We are going to bomb Hengyang once again. The reason being to cause more casualties if we can. Now, I do have a hell of a lot more fighters than I used to do, which is really nice. That's very nice, actually. Right. So I think what I'm going to do then is actually divide this squadron again. Okay. So 20,000. So what we'll do then is we will have them run escort, well, run sweep over here. They don't need to really use the drop tanks due to their tremendous range. And they do have a fair bit of fatigue, so I will have to have them stood down to rest afterwards. That would be nice. I'm going to set all the zeros to actually sweep Chikyang. Well, actually I'll have one of them run escort. So they can run it at 10,000 feet as well. How you doing there, Aleksandar? It's good to have you, my friend. Does China still have fighters that aren't from Flying Tigers? I don't know. It's now available. It's now available. There's a hiatus. I'm not going to repeat the opening statements, so just rewatch the video when I post it and you'll be able to see. It's nothing dark, it's just I'm feeling a little bit lazy. Oh dear. Can you upgrade your squadron with new types of planes? Yes, when I have squadrons, well, when I have planes in the numbers required, then yes, I can do that. So what I would do to actually do that is actually click this button over here. So let's see. So you can see these are all the upgrade options, and obviously when they do arrive. Right now, obviously I've only got these zeros here, so we're not going to be doing that. I'm just going to turn that off. Right, so they're going to be running escort. I do have the Oscars over here as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do then... I suppose it's one of these of how do I wish to use these fighters? If we take a look, I've got a good number of actual Ki-27s over here. Not tremendous amounts, but enough anyway. There's another Ki-27 squadron over here. We do have the numbers to cover pretty much everything here. I'm gonna get the units over. I mean, I'd be tempted to move supply, but I'd rather do things more efficiently, really. There is supply in this space. A tiny amount, let's see. 13. We have, within the unit, 11. So that's fine. The thing is, yeah, it is going to be low. But there's no units that are going to be attacking at any time soon, really. It's going to take them a few days to arrive here if they do begin to immediately set out. So what I'm going to do then is get the unit there in its entirety. Because remember, the fact is, so for the Yokosuka over here, you can see that this unit still has supply in it. So they will come in and they'll bring their own supplies. It'll not last long, but then once the entire unit is in the position here, then I'll move supply in there as we need it. I don't have a huge investment in supply here, because if we do need to get them out, we do need to try to do so. So yeah, we'll just try and get them moving first and foremost. Okay. Actually, I tell you what. What I'm going to do then is actually have these zeros. Their fatigue is fairly high. I know I'm over worrying here, actually. It doesn't have that many bombers. Sorry, fighters. Yeah, we'll use the zeros to sweep. So I think we'll have 2 sweeps at Hengyang. A sweep over here at Hengyang. Then what I'll do is have the Oscars run escort. So they're going to run escort over Hengyang. Targets Hengyang. They run escort. These guys can run escort over Hengyang. Have them run at, I think, about 15, I guess. But again, everything's gone in there really quite low. So in fact, I'll just have them sweep, I suppose. Then again, think set up another sweep over here at Hengyang then. It's doubtful if he's going to have the capability to do so. Well, to put up any fighter resistance there. He might be able to do so. So I'm placing most of the emphasis on the power drops over here. But I don't want to leave these guys without any cover. I do have some Oscars over here, but they're being used as training. And I don't really need them, so that's fine. Righto. So everything will continue dropping. Once we've dropped the entire units, then I can start to land some supply in there. Now, SunYan luckily has 138 tons of supply here, as you can see. The unit itself has 75, requires 65. I could have them placed on rest and training, but I'm a little bit worried about the immediate area. We don't have as much intelligence in this area as I would hope. So we'll keep them in combat mode just for this turn. Just in case. Okay. So they're in reconnaissance of a Luchao, which is going to be important, considering that this is where the closest enemy unit is. Now, we may have to abandon it. But we'll see. We can put up a good amount of resistance there. We do have the 4th Independent Mixed Regiment over here. Now, they are a Southern Army, which is good news. So what that means is I believe I can drop these troops over there at Toyundao. So what we'll do then is we'll get the entire unit of the 2nd Raider Regiment over here. So we'll get the entire 2nd Raider Regiment over here. And then I'll have some transport aircraft run supplies. I'll then move the majority down to Langson. And then from Langson we'll transport supply. And if needs be, I may transport the 4th Independent Mixed Regiment over there as well. Now, with this being under our control, we don't have to have paratroopers to do this, I do believe, which is good news. As we're basically moving base to base. Now, with the actual rules as they do stand, obviously it's going to make this a little bit harder, but not tremendously so. I will move these units. I feel like I can move these units once we actually have them in their totality. Yeah. Okay. I do have my reconnaissance units over here. So there's 30 turn grace period in China. So what I'm going to do then is actually try and identify where his aircraft are. There's probably some over here. We have seen bombers. But I think what I'll do then is actually take a look at the area. So I'll see what Pegu looks like, and then we'll take a look at Rangoon again. Okay. What is the amount of aviation support over here? 32. 32 is actually pretty good. How are we looking over here to Bangkok? Obviously, Bangkok we have no aviation, so a lot of them are kind of not being utilised right now. We do see the garrison requirement over here, which is nice. Yeah, some of these engineers actually have assault, which is good. I do have a 22nd Air Flotilla over here as well, which is very handy. Right. We do have that unit moving there to Victoria Point. There is an allied unit here as well, actually, that I've got to take into consideration. So... I'm tempted to divide the unit. Let's see. The roads are major down that way, so that's not bad at all. Let's see. Tavoy is actually a major airbase. So what I'm going to do then is actually dispatch something out there. So I'm going to take the 91st. Move it over there. Now, what's the distance here? From Tavoy to Rangoon is 7 hexes. So what I'm trying to do here then is establish a good number of bases from which I can use. Right, and the 41st as well. So they're going to move over here. It'll take some time to get the base really in full operation. We are going to have to take some time to travel over there, but it'll be worthwhile doing. To be fair, what I could probably do is actually bring these short-ranged aircraft over here and actually have them dropped in there, but I'll just march them. Right, okay. We're going to step up the amount of bombing at Singapore. So he does have a couple bombers over here, but not many. We'll keep an escort up there for the time being. Right, we are unloading. They can retire to Saigon once they're done. They are very slow, however. We're moving to take the base at Sambas. Okay. You have just arrived, which is good. Means I can actually rearm the patrol boats here. So what I'll do then is disband them in here. There we go. You can head back to Saigon or Cam Ranh Bay. Saigon it is. Have them head over there. And then you can pick up some more supply. And right. So we'll be landing over here at Jesselton either tomorrow or the day after then. Okay. Okay. They are going to head to Pescadores. Yeah, Pescadores, actually, yes. And the reason being, once they do arrive, they're going to be disbanded in Pescadores. I'm going to hold on to them until 8:42, so we can upgrade them with the depth charges. I mean, I considered actually sending them against the PTs, but they're outnumbered. I'd rather just send the destroyers, of which we'll be able to do next turn. I'm just waiting on... let's see, yeah. So over here we do have the light cruise and the destroyers. I think they just need to rearm. Yeah, they just need to fully rearm. So once they're rearmed, they will head down here to San Fernando, where they can join their their colleagues over there. And then we'll deal with the PTs. Say to bombardment. I'm going to reduce the range of the bombardment. Previously resisted, but I think we'll give it a go and see how it turns out. So they'll return to Singapore to rearm. Patrol boat and a tanker moving there. Some good tankers as well, actually. What I'm going to do then is, let's take a look. I'm going to have them instead head to Okinawa, first of all. So, disband when you arrive. The reason is, I would rather have a superior vessel, or at least a faster vessel, to escort them to Tokyo. I mean, right now these guys could do 18, 19 knots, and they're being escorted by 11 knot PB. It's nowhere near good enough. Okay. I will re-examine the actual convoy system in the future as well, actually. Need to properly plan it out. But we'll do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is in Osaka. There's a certain class I need right now. These are the Aidens. I'm looking for the Cassies. Here we go. So I'm going to convert these guys to AKs. And they're going to take 21 days. Some Eheim. Sort by endurance. There we go. So we're going to convert these guys over. These are going to give us the means to actually carry out forward operations in the future. That and allow us to rearm where we like, really. So I'm going to have them organise into squadrons for the most part. One for each carrier, or basically 2 to a carrier, 2 to a battleship, something of that nature, just so we can rearm pretty quickly. Hello there, man. Glad Game is on track again, so with the adjusted house rules, current powers in China to stay, and the one empty on Burn Road. Yeah. THE is going to have a month of grace, which I think's fair. I did initially propose 40 days, but he was like, nah, 30's okay. So fair enough. Alright, go ahead and take a look at the moment, see how many we've got converting. How many do we have here then? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll convert them all. They will come in handy. The good news is I can always convert them back if needs be, but we do have plenty of classes here to convert. So I'm going to be converting a few classes each. Here and there. I just need to identify what we have and what we need. AKs are definitely going to be handy. I can use them pretty much across the Empire. How you doing there, mate? How's Scotland treating you? Alright. Not at sea. Not at sea. Alright, there we go. So we have our bombardment set up there, so they're going to return to Shanghai, and then they can rearm, and then they'll come back down there. Yeah, as Major says there, Allied ammunition tenders can replenish at sea, which is a really, really nice ability. It's impressive, to be honest. Yeah, and as he points out there, we have to have an island or just some sort of port reel to use. Which, yeah, we'll make do with. Right, 51st, where are you moving to? Nowhere right now. In all honesty, do I even really need you here? Not really. We're going to have you sent to Shanghai, and we're going to have you moved out elsewhere in the future. Let's see, we're still expanding the Qizhou. I'm going to stop expanding Qizhou. Right. Yeah, that's fine. So that's going to reduce the amount of supply usage over there. I'm going to cancel the Qizhou run and basically have it used elsewhere. I'd rather just have it pulled at Fusan, to be honest. That's actually a very strong unit, really, isn't it? Okay. I do have an airfield here, actually. Might be worthwhile to potentially expand that to level 2. But I think we're okay for the time being. Backlin. What is its command radius? That's a flotilla, so it's only one. I think I'd like a high-level air command out here in the future, actually. That'd be quite nice. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think Toyohara, or one of these other bases, would be nice for an actual air flotilla headquarters. I think I'd like a larger headquarters out here in the future, actually. Ideally, one with a decent bit of range, and we could cover a couple islands. But we'll consider that. I mean, the air flotilla is definitely sufficient. It's more than sufficient, really, at the moment. But that will come in handy later on in the future, actually, so that's definitely something to consider. That's a good idea. Okay. So they're heading out in the correct fashion. These guys heading to Changchao. So, let's take a look. These guys are still loaded their supply. So are these guys as well. So when they're done, that's good. We'll have them sent back to Shanghai. I'm not going to be bringing up supply like this in the future. Don't need to. Right. Yeah. Range 5 would be really nice. Wakanai. Whereabouts is Wakanai? Is that on the mainland? Oh, Wakanai. There we go, yeah. Yeah, 5 is really impressive. Yeah, I mean that covers essentially all of Hokkaido. Yeah, it covers all of Hokkaido. Obviously get Toyohara as well, so that's a really nice place there. Oh, I see. Cool. Right. So we are patrolling here for the time being. The only reason I'm patrolling here is due to the fact that there's a large amount of assets over here. I imagine none of them are really worthwhile attacking. I was hoping they might try to sneak some tankers out, to be honest. But then again, I'm getting ready to actually bring them back through the gap there. Bring them down to Balikpapan. So I can actually have them just re-armed, refueled, etc. And send them out elsewhere. Yeah. Frankly, what we need to do then is just up the pressure on Singapore. So you're over here at... Right, okay, so you've been upgraded, so we have Namala Balikpapan. So I have 14 of you in the pool at the moment. Okay. Yeah, no, these ones are, yeah, I know that. I was wondering if there's anything over here. I'm only justifying them being out here for a little bit longer. I just want to use that fuel while they are there. It's not a very efficient patrol pattern. The only reason I'm doing this is just that it just does not seem to be running ASW on naval search, so I'm just trying to pick something off and then bring them back down there, really. I'm just considering as to whether to move our air assets from Makassar to Singkawang and move the actual elements from Singkawang into Singapore. I think we need to concentrate... See, the thing is, if I run naval attacks against over here at Palembang, it's a bit of a pain in the arse with all these PTs. I don't think there's really a naval threat. So what I might do then is actually bring the G3 M2s down this way. The only issue is I need to be able to use torpedoes with them. So I do have the 23rd Air Flotilla headquarters over here then. So in fact what we might do then is bring the G3s down here to Makassar. Yeah, have them brought down here to Makassar, then I can move the actual K-43s over here to Johor Bahru. I think this is it. I think there's not a terrible amount of things here. PTs. It's probably moved out the most... Well, the vast majority, I suppose. And what will you do after you captured Samarinda and Timor? I'm trying to remember where Samarinda is now. Oh, there's Samarinda, okay. Timor will fall shortly, really. It's not going to put up that much of a fight. Samarinda, we're going to have to wait a few days for the 4th Sea Detachment to arrive. Sprinter DD Squadron to Palembang to deal with them. I'd consider that, but I'd like to nullify that air power first, I think, to some degree. I think what I'm basically debating is there's not really much in the area that requires torpedoes, but then again, we don't know where the American carriers, at least where the Allied carriers are. We have seen some south, and I do point out why I do stress some south. So I'd like to try and prepare this area to be a little bit more resistant to potentially that sort of incursion. So I could also use the G3s to bomb the airfield at a decent altitude, put some pressure on there, if needs be. A lot of considerations. I just don't think I'm really able to use them properly over here. If I put them in naval type, they're only going to attack Palembang, they're only going to attack PT boats, so... And I could also transfer them to the north to deal with Rangoon, but depending on how this attack goes, will be interesting. Yeah, firebomb Darwin. Yeah, something to take into consideration. I'm going to have them transferred. So I'm going to transfer them down to Makassar. So currently they're in naval search. Well, actually they're resting here at the moment. So what I'm going to do then is set them up. I don't particularly want them on naval attack. What's the range here? 16 hexes to sort of Aya. That's good to know. So they do have the range to go and bomb Surabaya. They've also got 15 hex range for the torpedoes, which is good enough. I've got Chiang Mai that actually does have engineers. I'm not currently building the airfield. I may have to do that actually. Yeah. Well, what I've just done at the beginning of the actual, well, not too long ago, is I'm moving 2 engineer units over here to Tavoy. So I can actually make, well, take advantage there, take control of Tavoy. I do have the actual flotilla over here, the actual headquarters. So what I might do is actually base the naval bombers over here in the future at Bangkok. Have fighters base over here at Tavoy, perhaps. I do have some aviation over here, but I'm probably going to move it up to Chiang Mai, actually. So I think we'll do that. We'll have it moved up to Chiang Mai. I think I'm going to try and develop that. It's a very nice airbase. It is the furthest forward, really, isn't it? So that does come with a lot of utility there. But yeah, I've got some engineers marching to Victoria Point as well, so I'm taking an interest in this area now. I should have been really on it much earlier, but it is what it is. Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to send these Careful Freeze over here. Fly them to Johor Bahru. There we go. So you have the Tojos. They're still sweeping. Okay. I'll monitor their fatigue, but they should be okay. So they're going to fly. The range here then, that's 9 hexes to Singapore. I would like to reduce that, so let's see. We do have Kuantan over here. That's only 47 aviation support. It could take some additional ones. I do have a bunch of other assets out here that could be moved elsewhere. How's Kuala Lumpur look? That's 39. And there's 120 here, actually. I might have actually looked at the wrong stat over here to Kwantan. Kwantan has... yeah, 47. So I think what we'll do then is potentially move them to Kuala Lumpur. The good news is it's on a rail line, so I can move them quite easily. These guys are on a rail line already. Let's see. So, perhaps we'll move them. I suppose another thing to take into consideration is obviously the airfields over here. But then again, if he's got the actual ability to do so, I don't think he'll be too concerned. So let's see. Normal radius is 10. So they are within range, but I think what I'm going to do is move them to actually reduce the strain on the actual airframes. So I'm going to move them to Kuala Lumpur. So from tomorrow we'll start flying from Kuala Lumpur then. And increase the amount of bombers actually hit in Singapore. There we go. Yeah, but not right now. I think once I get to Kuala Lumpur, then I might consider doing it. Okay. So we have combined our forces over here then. We did take some casualties. So, it looks like he's going to attack over here, which, okay. If he's going to do that, he's going to do that. That's fine. Even if it pushes us back over here, we'll be pushed to Clark, where we do have the actual fortifications, but I don't think it's terribly likely. Level 3 fortifications, and I believe the base is Jungle Rough, so we'd be absolutely fine there. Frankly, I'm happy that he's attacking. Sure, we're losing men, but he's losing supply. So it's one of those of, well, he doesn't have the means to push us off Luzon. If he attempts to, he's going to use a lot of supply doing so, which will just really exacerbate his problems there. I do need to bring some nail bombers here, so to be fair, what I might do then with these G3s over this way is I might have them transferred over here to Luzon and use them to attack the PT boats. Things with the PT boats, they're just a pain in the arse. Okay, let's figure out what we want to do with them. So right now I'm not doing very much. I could set them to naval attack, but then again, is there any targets out here? But then again, it might be just worthwhile just to use them as naval search for the most part. I could even use them on ASW, but I don't think their pilots are very good at that, but it would be something. I think probably the best idea then, because I do have the G4s here as well, actually, is I think we'll just use them as naval search for the time being. Try and figure out what's in the area. So I think, yeah, I think we'll go for naval search. So what do I have here to escort? So I have these guys. I suppose then again, if I've got them in naval search, I might as well put them in naval attack, haven't I? So I'm going to operate here then. 12 hexes, I do have the supply to do so, so that's good news. I think what we'll do then is we could operate 8,000 feet to escort. We'll operate then with naval attack at 12. 8,000 feet. About 20% rest, I guess. Yeah, I suppose we'll operate like that. Use torpedoes. G3s. So the G4s to do the same, I suppose. 2050. That's quite extreme, isn't it? Alright, to 9. To 9. Well, so... so Sotobai is 10. Okay. So we'll operate at 9 then. Yeah, that's a good possibility as well, actually. No, I think I'm going to keep them on naval attack here, actually. It was a considerable idea, I suppose. But then I do have 4 battleships over here that are going to put out significantly more. Of course, it is a consideration. I don't think it's needed. It's one of those I'll be using the supply, which I'm using supply to do this. But at least I'm making use of them here. It's something to bear in mind anyway, I'll consider it. It's not a terrible idea. Right, so 9-9. There we go. So they're moving in there. They're going to automatically disband when they do arrive, which is good. Right, and we'll have the AS over there, which will be very handy. Obviously, I'm bringing these submarines out this way. So we'll run increased levels of naval search there, which will be good. I've been able to move my fighters. So we've got 2 over there, that'll be ready in time. We've got a G3 over there as well. K-46 2D, those will be ready in time as well. Okay. I suppose the thing is, we have shown that we are able to actually launch torpedo attacks at Osthaven. So he's going to have to consider that, so that's okay. I don't really have a good control over this area. I think I over-worry about this at Palembang. I would like to tackle this at Palembang, so I think what we'll do is consider it. So if we take a look from Kuala Lumpur, is 12 to Palembang. So what I might do then is actually transfer additional assets down here to Johor Bahru. So I have 190 aviation support. I could increase the size of the airfield. But I don't think it's worthwhile. I think it's one of those of, I'm not going to get that much bang for my buck if I do that. It would allow me to base more there, but I've got enough. I think the actual base there is sufficient for the needs. There's only 10 after all, and they're probably short-ranged. It's more so the fighters that are the problem, but then again if it sends them here. All in all, they're not really much of a problem, to be honest. Okay. What do we have in port here? But then you take a look at that. They're not going to bring Ambon. It's a nice idea, but I just don't think it's worthwhile. It's kind of like square peg round hole. It's like, yeah, they can do it, but it's not the thing that they're great at. And if we have them on naval attacks, we never know when something's going to arrive in this area. They have the ability to run torpedoes, which for the most part they normally don't. And I'd be better using actual army bombers that have twice the bomb load. It's not as if I don't consider the idea, it's just the fact that we do have literally 4 battleships that are able to cause far more damage than they can ever do. Well, at least in a short period of time. Something to consider. I could actually bring some transports. I do have some down here, but I'm actually holding in place. Yeah, but quality, well, quantity is a quality all of its own. It's just one of those. Is Ambon a pressing concern? No. Nonetheless, still a good idea. Okay, you're moving down there. I don't know why they were in that mode. A couple of these coins to move out. Where do you belong? Right, so you're down there to the south at Mindanao. So we did land here last turn to take possession of that base. So you're going to head back to Naga. You're in a position over here as well, so you're unloading here for the time being. So you're unloading the 15th. Okay. So the 15th then. Marching. Yeah, so what we're going to do then is we take a look. So they're set. Did I actually attack a Kagayan last turn? I might have considered it, or I might have considered doing it this turn. Let's see. Hang on. SunYan. Oh, so I wasn't imagining. Yeah, we did have an attack over there at Batan. I felt like I was dreaming for a time. Right. Siddharth. Siddharth. Mankal. Right, so that was Changsha. I'm going to bombard there again. We actually did have a pretty good ratio there, which is quite nice. If his forces are in movement mode as well, that'll hurt them even further. Yeah, that was a pretty good bombardment at Wankal. Yeah, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to run a... I don't know, do I run a bombardment or do I run a deliberate attack? I think we'll run a bombardment. He's not going to build forts. You've got to remember as well, like that airfield has 100% damage, the port's 57% damage. He can't repair that. It is being bombarded regularly. It's a good idea though, I know, but don't get a beanie bonnet. Okay. Don't underestimate the effects of lethargy. They do have some pretty good preparation there. I think we can go for a... Is that replacements? I think we can go for a bombardment then. I think I might have all units by the Kerr actually bombard. We'll get a measure of his strength then. Oops. Yep, defend. Yeah, we'll go for that. They don't have any guns anyway. So we'll go for a bombardment. You're unloading the Sasaba over here then. Okay. How many aboard? Oh yeah. That's a decent unit. They're docked. Okay, well that's excellent. So we'll have another Neverguard unit there. So obviously it'll take some time. We do have that force there. We do have that force there as well. So I think Hengang's time is numbered at long last. Should have been doing this from the start, to be honest. But all things in good time, really. All lessons learned, I suppose you could say. So we'll get a sense of how strong the Hengyang garrison is. And the good news is, once we take Hengyang, then we'll go ahead and take the rest of the Philippine Islands over here. Finish off that. Gives me a lot of additional forces then to play with, and additional resources as well. So that's quite nice. Okay, so they're heading to Nagasaki. You're taking the additional tank regiment in there, that's good. Okie dokie. I think for the most part, we are good to go here. Right, have him in combat mode. We're planning for nanning. I want to place pressure on him here so he can't pull out. What I'm going to do then is grab our reconnaissance. So we are going to be bombing Hengyang again. That's good. Bombing at 3,000 feet. So how many casualties did we inflict at Hengyang? There's my air attack. Oh, here we go. So 246 there. $134. 61. Okay. not bad. A few hundred casualties anyway. Nothing to write home tremendously about, but at the end of the day, it's just... It is causing damage, it's causing fatigue. The fatigue and disruption is really what I want there. So we'll continue with these efforts from the air. And I'll keep doing this each turn, really, now. Until we have victory at Hengyang, ideally. These guys are going to continue to bombard Changsha. It is going to use a good chunk of supply, but if he's moving forces out of here, I do want to try and damage him. It is going to be very interesting to see how many forces actually remain at Changsha. I suppose the thing is... Does he know the... Well, of course he knows the attack at Hengyang is coming. That one's out of the bag. It'll be interesting to see how much in the way of reinforcements he sends out of Changsha. But we'll see. I don't imagine having to actually fight for Changsha. Bombardment will be sufficient. And he'll withdraw anyway, I imagine. He'll get to the point where if we're able to pressure him enough that he'll pull out. Why are Chinese still alive? Oh dear. Okay. So I think we have that sorted there. Now, we'll go ahead and check further south. Ah, yes, we are able to attack over here, so they're going to deliberate attack at this location over here. So there's the 3 units that were the Garrison of Kokpang. I'd like to take this base just to have the entirety of the island there as well. So that's going to come up in the near future. I'm going to be taking these islands over here. I will be looking towards 104 to actually capture Denpasar in the near future as well, actually. The good news about having Balapapan is we do have the fuel and the supplies to make use of now. So you can see when we did capture it, we had like, I think we had practically like 0 supplies there. We now have 733, so that's going to increase pretty quickly, which is all good. You're loading supplies, so you can head south there, that's good. Right. Let's see. I do have the rest of the 65th over here. Let's see. Alright, so the 4th Air Division has arrived here then. Have they still been unloaded? No, okay. You're loading supplies to go south. Alright, so I've got these 18 knotters in there. Where do I really want that? Where do I want that air command? I've got 5th Air Division over here then. So that's got a radius of 4 as well. I do have the 23rd Air Flotilla over here. Just make me wonder, do I want another air headquarters in that area? Or would I like one down here? It would be very advantageous to have more down in this area, but is it really required? It's a difficult choice to make sometimes. I think a 3rd one down here would be quite handy. I could potentially have it based down here at Makassar, move the flotilla over here to Balapapan. But then again, is it required to do so? Where could I make use of it? Maybe even somewhere down in this area, if I could capture an ice island cluster. A few things to take into consideration. It would be nice to have something to do mayor. I'm going to have to think on that one when I really want that. I can't think of an immediate area where it's going to be essentially able to pay for itself. Right, Otai is moving out there. You're moving out as well, that's good. What I'm going to do here then is... Abukuma is on the way. I may just disband them. Combined fleet is over here. Okay. I'm not sure what that force is, but what I'm going to do then is, let's see. Right. I'm going to patrol around this area here then. We'll see if it approaches midway. If it does, then I'll be rather interested. It's not a great patrol pattern, but I don't know which way he might approach from. It is interesting with the AMC supposedly in here, but I can't see him really having any aces up his sleeve. And these guys are not far from their destinations. You're nearly in position here, okay. You do not have a float plane, okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's figure this out. Right. So from San Diego to let's say Pearl. Okay. So I'll start patrolling this area here actually. A little bit further south. No, I don't imagine the damage of Midway is repaired. 17 and 38. I'm not going to build forts at Midway. Not anytime soon anyway. Reason is I couldn't if I wanted to anyway. They're going to repair this. If I take a look, that's an atoll. So, it does compel him to actually go ahead and, well, shock attack anyway. I forget what the actual defensive value of an atoll is, but it's not insignificant. And there's a pretty good garrison on the island. The thing is, if he comes to invade, then I'm going to be rather amused, to be honest. No, I'm not going for San Diego. What I'm trying to do is obviously try and cover the actual shipping lanes out from San Diego towards Pearl Harbor. It's more so just to try and get a sense of what might be in the area. Who knows, we might catch something. I don't expect us to. We'll see. Okay. So our H6K4s there. Should ideally intercept this unit over here, while those ships over there. We have our subs over here as well. Right. Subs over here. I would like to have more subs down there by path. We just need them to recover. Well, we just need them to return, obviously, to Balapapan. When they do, refuel, rearm, we'll be good to go. I would like to get a little bit more fuel down, potentially to Kopang, and turn that into like a rearmament base for the submarines, or refueling base if I can. The good thing is I can definitely get fuel down there, but we'll see about that. It might not be terribly efficient to do some of the fuel down there, considering the fact that, yeah. Something to consider anyway. Something to consider. Things are going well enough. Well, obviously I would prefer them to go better, but it is what it is. Okay. So I would like more engineer regiments, I would like just more forces here in general, really. We are slowly but surely building it up. Okay, Kankor, Changsha. So I'd like to bring these units out towards Malay in the future, but that's going to take some doing. 55th Division, so we've got, yeah, Comac. Johabaru. I'd like to rebuild this division. It's one that I wish I'd never had split, but yeah. Okay. Right. So I think with that we are good to go. Everything's going to be flying as it intends to, but what I'm going to do here is grab the reconnaissance. So Shangtan, Changsha, Hengyang. Yep, okay. Jikyang, don't need to run back reconnaissance any longer. Obviously because I have bloody hold of the base. So what I'm going to do then is I could run reconnaissance of Nanyang, which I'm going to do. So Nanyang. 25th Chinese. I will have units next to it next turn, so I don't think it's required. They can run over Aishang. Or Ichang. Tayon. I'll run it. I think over Quailin. I could run reconnaissance of a Chongqing as well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run reconnaissance of a Quailin to begin with, and if I don't see anything at Quailin, then I'll potentially run it over there. I'm not going to need terribly much reconnaissance over here. I just want to have an idea of what's going on. Okay, when will you arrive? It's going to take some time. Sorry. You're moving as well. Okay, so you'll arrive in this hex tomorrow. So it is indeed going to take some time. That's okay. Right. Four days until we have Inyo. Okay, so I'm going to stop accelerating Yonyo. 1470, I have 1384. Go back to normal. 1302. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is try and build up a stockpile of naval shipyard points if I can. In 4 days we'll have a carrier completed, which will reduce the amount of strain on the naval shipyards. So I can go then. Yeah. We'll take a look at that. I'm going to have to take a look at the tracker really, but we'll take a closer look and figure out what we can do with that. Yeah, I'm not in the pool, so we'll build that pool back up. I've got 3898 in the merchant shipyard. Armaments 4103. I'll keep an eye on the armament pool and see how much we're actually using. Actual production 0, because we're not right. Okay. Okay, that'll take some time. This may have been a waste of time, but we'll continue. Look forward to having Nick. Definitely would do the R&D again if I could, but we'll see how it turns out. It's more balanced than anything, so it should be okay. Okay. Another aviation unit moving there, and another aviation unit. So we'll have about 3 over here at Langson in the near future then. So I think with that, we are pretty much good to go there. I can't believe how quickly an hour and 25 minutes has gone by. My god. It is good to be back though, guys. It is good to be back. Yeah. So Combined Fleet will be making its way down to Baker Island, so they should arrive at Baker in probably 3-4 days, maybe at max. What we're going to do then is assemble our cruiser task force over here at Baker Island. What I'll do then is more or less likely bombard Christmas Island and potentially Palmyra as well, actually. We shall see. We're going to try and get reconnaissance over Pearl Harbor. Whenever the arrival date of the A672 is, there's no point building a send back. Cool. They're just like kind of like waste of time. At least in my opinion. Okay. So we'll watch the situation over here, really. If they continue moving this way, then I'll potentially deploy Ryujo. We shall see. Okay. So I'm going to call it there. I don't think there's anything that I may have missed. It has been a fair while, in fairness, so it's going to take some time just to get back up to speed on things. There might have been other things I wanted to do, but I think this seems okay. I think everything is moving along as it needs to. You arrived over here, and yeah, good. Yeah, that's fantastic. We're able to actually unload those accursed searchlights, which was what we needed, so they can move over there to Comac. So I might move the actual aviation unit from Comac to Numair. I had resisted it, but I'm gonna have to really take into consideration what is actually more useful here, really. And the fact is, it is nice to be able to cover this area over here, but is it potentially better to have it in Numair? But it might be that. These are nice bases over here, to be honest. I'm going to have to think about when I want to have the other air headquarters there. So we'll consider it. Okay. And with that, we'll call it. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. So when I do get a chance, I will properly rewrite the house rules and write them down so everybody can see them and pin them. And once again, yeah. It has been a long hiatus, but yeah, I'm glad that you guys have borne with it. Or bared it, really. But it'll be worthwhile. It'll be worthwhile. And yeah, I think we're good to go here then. I'm sorry if I sound like really subdued. I think it's been a while since I last streamed. And so I've got to get back into I've got to warm the old vocal cords up, really. Yeah. Good news is 2 more essays to go. Good way through them, so that'll be fine. Reading week this week, and then I start semester 2 the week after. So I'm going to have more work. Well. Well, said the soul. Until next time, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Cannot wait to see what the next term will look like. So we'll go ahead and we'll save it here. Well, end the turn here. We'll go with that. Something deliberately vague. Something that I can say, oh yeah, that's totally what I plan to do. Thanks, Steins. I missed you guys. It's one of these things you might not think, but I do genuinely enjoy doing this. Like a hobby. Withdrawal symptoms. Yeah, I'm going to be bringing out the Admiral Dadman play by email shortly as well. Just a few more things to do there. But that'd be quite good. So ideally we'll be able to have a couple play-by emails going as well. So obviously the main one will of course always be with THG. Then we'll have one with Dadman, and then I'll conclude the one with Mage in the near future as well. So that'd be quite cool. So lots of action. I do need to think about what else I want to do on the channel as well. I think it is quite amusing as well, because it's like considering things as well. I've heard back from 2 of the universities I've applied to so far. I still need to wait on 3 more. So I am going to have to make the decision of which university I'm going to be ultimately choosing. That's going to be a really interesting one. The one that is top of the list is actually pretty close by, so I would be able to keep all the streaming nets set up pretty much good to go. I don't think there'd really be much in the way of disruption. But some of the other ones are further afield and would require me to move there. So it would be interesting. It would be interesting. And if I do get the degree I want, that would mean a year in Japan. So it is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to really decide what I want to do with the channel and how I want to do things. I think I might go for less videos and just try to make things a little bit more professional to some degree. But we'll see. We'll see. Until next time, goodbye for now. Ayasumi Minasai. And Tenno Heika Banzai. Goodbye for now.